Can I tell you something that kind of changed how I use AI? Like, completely change it. Not just, oh, that's a good tip, change it. Because I was using AI to get answers, and that's it. I will open it, ask my question, get a response, and then leave it. And it was fine, it worked. But I was using AI as a very smart search engine. Then one day, I did something completely different. And I sat back and went, oh, I've been doing this completely backwards. Hi, I'm Suzy, and I simplify AI for real life. Okay, so here's what I mean. Most people, when they use AI, they go in with a question they already know how to ask. Summarize this, write me that, explain this thing, and that's it, done. Clear input, clear output. And that's okay, I still do it all the time. But there's a whole other mode, and it's one that most people haven't tried. Not because it's complicated, but because no one talks about it. It's using AI to think, not to get answers, to actually think. And the difference between these two, it's bigger than it sounds. When you ask AI for an answer, you're handling a question already formed. But what do you do when you don't have that question yet? When everything that you have in your mind is like a fog, a feeling that something isn't quite right, but you cannot really name it. A decision you keep circling, an idea that keeps buzzing in your mind and it won't come out right. You can't ask a question that you haven't formed yet. So most people just sit with the fog. They overthink. They go to bed and wake up still spiraling. But you can bring the fog to AI, the whole unfinished, half-formed, inconsistent mess of it. And it will help you find what is actually in there. And that's what I mean by thinking partner. Not an answer machine, but a partner. Okay, let me give you a real example of how this looks like. A few months ago, I was dealing with something at work. And I was going back and forth in my mind without actually knowing what I wanted to do. I was circling around it and I was feeling more and more confused every time I thought about it. Do you know that feeling where you thought so much about something that thinking about it makes it worse? That was me. So I opened AI and instead of asking a question, I just typed, I need to think through something. Don't give me advice. Just help me think. Ask me questions. And then I just dumped everything. The situation, what I was scared of, what I was torn between, what I actually wanted, but didn't have the guts to say that's what I wanted. All of it. Messy, unfiltered, tangled. And AI started asking me things. Not giving me answers, but asking me. For example, you mentioned that twice. What about that part is so important for you? Or what would you have to believe in order to feel okay with either option? These kind of things. And at some point, I read something and it reflected back to me. And I went, that's it. That's the thing I've been trying to tell myself for the last 3 weeks. The AI didn't solve it. It helped me hear myself. And sometimes that's all we need. Here's another one. And this one, it's going to be relatable if you have ever had an idea that was great in your mind, but every time you try to explain it, it fell apart. You know what you're trying to say, but the words won't come out. Or you try to explain to someone and they look at you blankly. And you're like, no, it's good. I just don't know how to explain it right now. And you feel super embarrassed because you generally cannot articulate what you're thinking right now. That happens to me constantly, by the way. Like it's a recurring experience in my life. But what I do now is before I try to explain my ideas to anyone, I just go to AI and I just brain dump the raw, unfiltered, unstructured, not trying to sound good. Everything with the, oh, I think this, but I'm not sure. but maybe everything. And then I ask, what's the core of what I'm trying to say? Reflect back what you're hearing, and it will give me something back. But I will go, that's not quite it. And we will try a few more times. We will have this back and forth conversation. And by the end of it, I will have something that I can actually say out loud to a real person. Not because AI wrote it for me, because AI helped me find it. It was already in here. I just didn't know how to express it. And that's what I mean by AI is a mirror, not a ghostwriter, a mirror. Now I want to address something because I've had people say that to me. And maybe you're thinking it right now.
Suzy, but I don't come to AI with articulate questions because I don't have an articulate mind.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point. We've been trained to think that AI needs a clean input to give good results. Because Google works that way. If you type something vague, you get no useful answers. If you're very specific, then you get great answers. And we've been using Google for the last 20 years. So we apply the same rules to AI. We try to figure out exactly what we want to ask before starting to chat with it. But AI is not a search engine. It doesn't work like Google. It's conversational. It can handle your mess. It can work with the unfiltered thing. You don't have to have the question. You just need to start talking. There's one requirement though. Honesty. Say the actual thing that you're thinking. Don't give it a polished version like the one you would give to your boss or post on social media. The real version, the messy, unfiltered, embarrassing version. Because here's the thing that happens when you give AI the polished version. You get a polished version back, which is useless when you're trying to understand what is going on underneath the polish. Give it mass. That's where the thinking is. Now let me give you one last scenario because I want to cover something that I think is the most underrated uses of AI. Brainstorming. Not the kind that you ask AI to give you a list of ideas and you pick one from it. Real brainstorming, collaborative, back and forth, building on each other. Here's what that looks like. Let's say you're stuck on something, a decision, a plan, how to talk to someone about something hard. You got some ideas, but you keep coming back to the same two options. Try this. I'm stuck between a few options and I feel like I'm missing something. I don't want you to tell me what to do. I want to brainstorm with you. Give me one idea I haven't thought of. Then ask me a question and let's build from there. And it does. It gives you one thing. You react to it. And that reaction gives AI more information about what you actually need. It adjusts. You react again. You build on it. And before you know it, you're somewhere completely different from where you started. And usually somewhere much better. This is how two people actually brainstorm. Not one creating a list and the other one picking from it. Building, reacting, going somewhere new together. And AI can do that with you. I want to say one thing before the end of this video. Because I think there's something that sounds small, but it matters a lot. When you use AI as a thinking partner, you're not outsourcing your thinking. You're doing more of it. You're going deeper than you would alone. You're saying the things that you would normally just skip over. And because AI keeps asking, you keep going. The people who uses AI best are not the ones who have the perfect prompt or the ones who know the most technical stuff. They are the people who are most honest with it, who come with the real thing, the unfiltered, unflattering, unfinished thing. And I think that's actually accessible to everyone. You don't need the perfect library. You don't need to know any special techniques. So here's the practical thing. The next time you're stuck on something, before you try to talk through it yourself, do a list of pros and cons, or go to bed hoping that the next day it will be clearer. Open AI and try this. I need to think through something. I'm not looking for advice. Just help me think. Ask me questions and reflect back what you hear. And then say the thing, the actual thing, as messy as it is in your mind. The first time I did this, I sat back and I thought, I wish I had found this a year ago. Not because AI solved anything, but because it helped me stop spinning. And that feeling is what I want for you. Save this video, not for later, but for the next time you're stuck on something, because you're going to want to come back to this next time. And if you know someone who keeps saying they overthink everything, they're overwhelmed, and they can't make decisions, send them this. This is the one. The link for my free AI starter guide is in the description below. It walks you through everything from scratch, completely beginner friendly, and it pairs really well with what we talked today. See you next week. When everything that you have in your mind. Okay, let me give you a real example. A few months ago, I was dealing. So I opened an eye, and I know. Instead of asking a question. And at some point, I read something, and it reflected back at me, right back to me. And at some point, I read something, and it reflected back to me. And at some point, I read something, and it reflected back to me. And at some point, I read something, and it reflected. And you feel super embarrassed because you generally cannot. And we will go back and forth. This is how to. Here's what I like. Brainstorm.